Hello everyone, I'm Wendell Jones and welcome to this edition of the program. The platform on this program, we look at national issues. The economy of the Bahamas, many people are still talking about it. Is it improving or is it not improving? The government says that it has seen some growth in the economy of the Bahamas, and the Prime Minister has promised a number of jobs. Well, on our program today we are going to be discussing the economy of the Bahamas, and we're going to talk a little bit about taxes, especially the government's intention to introduce value-added tax on the 1st of July this year. Our guest on the program is a familiar voice dealing with the economy of the Bahamas, Mr. Dionisio, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Superwash, and he has a whole lot to say about taxes, I'm sure, today. Mr. Diaghilev, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, for having me yet again.
And Mr. Diaghilev, many would know, is also a former president of the Chamber of Commerce. Are you still active with the Chamber?
Yes, I go there from time to time. They ask me to involve myself, especially in this whole value-added tax undertaking. So I am involved, yes.
Okay. Before we go into taxes, Superwash, I noticed that you have done a tremendous amount of work in improving the facilities of Superwash on Gibbs Corner, is it?
Yes. What basically has happened is you get nothing for your money in the bank. So it don't make no sense to put your money in the bank. So this is the time that I've said, okay, whatever surplus money we make, let's invest it back in the economy. Because that's the only way you can expect to get a decent return. If you put your money in the bank, you get 1%, 2%. So we just renovated, completely demolished and rebuilt our location at Gibbs Corner. That needed an uplift. Mm-hmm. And we're presently building a new location on Charles Saunders Highway. So hopefully that'll come on stream in the third quarter of this year. And then we will move in 2015 to the renovation of an existing building that we have, with the intention of creating a laundromat there too, and closing down a smaller one that we have.
Right, that is good growth.
So we are not, well, it's just, you know, this is, the incentives are there to you know, refresh your product. Mm-hmm. If you are making a profit, what are you going to do with it? You know, what are you going to do with it? So let's use this as an opportunity to invest in our economy and keep it going.
Gibbs Corner was pretty run down, eh?
It was in a horrendous state, and it has been amazing. Mm. We've made that into a beautiful location. I think it looks wonderful, and the customers have been very excited to go there. And that probably was one of our lowest grossing laundromats, and it's, you know, probably moved up into the top 3 or 4. So it's done. I mean, basically customers have shifted. Overall sales haven't adjusted that much, but people have shifted. They like new things, right? We Bahamians, we like new things, and so they have shifted there, and it's given us a formula for how we are going to move forward and renovate and keep, you know, Superwash fresh and cutting edge, and, you know, that's the way we have to do it.
There are a whole lot of Bahamians who just prefer to go to Superwash now rather than doing their laundry at home.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you've got to give them if you have machines that work and you're open 24 hours and you have a nice location, it makes it harder for people to say, let me get a washer and dryer at home. Especially what we have found in the Bahamas is there are very large households. Mm-hmm. So if you have a washer, because your household is so large, it takes you such a long time to do laundry. It's a never-ending nightmare. So people go to the laundromat, get 10 washers, 5 dryers, and it really makes it an efficient process for them. Mm-hmm. And it's up to us to keep it fresh and young and work on our customer service. It's always an issue. You know, when Bahamians deal with Bahamians, we aren't always the friendliest with one another. But, you know, these are things that we need to work on, and to keep our product alive and refreshed and exciting for our customers.
How many staff members do you have now?
I would say Superwash probably has about 90 people.
90 people?
Yeah.
And you are pressing as well?
Yeah, we do steam pressing as well, so that's a good add-on business. It's, you know, it's kind of tiresome for a gentleman such as yourself to be ironing your shirts all the time. So go to Superwash, drop off your 10 shirts, bam, it's done. You drop them off when you go to work, come back when you get off, and they're ready.
So you were putting a dent in the dry cleaning business of some other people.
Well, I don't really think we are putting a dent in dry cleaning. I think people are changing. Not many people wear suits anymore. It's the dress of most people is becoming less and less formal. So people are wearing a pair of khakis and they're wearing a cotton shirt, and in the good old days they would go to work in suits and all that, and people are dressing down. So I think the dry cleaning business is being challenged as a result of the changing dynamic of that business. So,
okay. Let's speak generally about the economy from where you sit. I'm sure you're in touch with what is happening in the overall economy of the Bahamas.
Yeah, 2014 is going to be a very interesting year. I don't think there's going to be anything dynamic. The government will try to put a spin on it, but I think this will be a flat year. There's a lot of uncertainty in the economy because of the value-added tax. The government still has a lot of things to fill in. You know, what's going to happen to import duties, what's going to happen to business license fees, you know, what does this VAT entail, who's exempt, who's zero rated. There's still a lot of uncertainty there. And what that I think is causing is for people to say, hold on, let me see how this pans out before I make a decision on what to do. Do I invest? Do I grow? Do I improve? What do I do? And how is VAT going to affect me if and when it's going to be introduced? And I think that's got people in a state of indecision. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, you have Bahama. So Bahama is scheduled to come on stream at the end of 2014. The number that's being thrown out is going to be 5,000 people, Bahamians that are employed. Let's say they make an average of $25,000 to $30,000 a year. Each job is going to, that's direct jobs. Then you go to the indirect jobs, people servicing. So for every direct job it's going to supposedly create another 4 indirect jobs. The number gets quite big, quite large. Quite quickly, sorry. It gets quite big, quite quickly. So that's the sort of the bright news. But that will start to kick in at the very end of 2014, and hopefully 2015 will be a brighter year. Add to that the U.S. economy, which is seemingly, at least if the stock market is an indication, is seemingly improving. People are feeling a little bit more wealthy. They're going to spend a little bit more, go on vacation one more time, or now begin to take a vacation a little bit further from home. So I think that, you know, the trending is in the right direction. However, I think in the Bahamas here, it will probably still be quite a flat year.
The Prime Minister, in his address the other day, said that he expects to see a lot of jobs created. And there are a lot of people who point to what is happening at Albany. I'm sure you're aware of that. And there are some things happening in the Family Islands, which are holding a whole lot of Bahamians in the Family Islands. In Grand Bahama, the reef is opening. I understand it's very, very nice, and there is some improvement there. So wouldn't you say that things are looking up?
I think so. I think things are looking up. But remember now, unemployment went up. So the government's response to why unemployment went up was because more people are looking. So if the unemployment rate, whether you believe it or not, went from 14% to 16%, yes, and you create jobs to get us back down to 14%, we're not moving. So that's why I think it's moving in the right direction. I think there will be jobs created. But politicians have to be mindful of confidence. People make investments when they feel confident. They feel good. Things are going to get better. And I think there's still a lot of fear by the business community about what to do, about what the future holds. And when you are fearful, you hold back. So while...
But you're not holding back.
I'm not. But I'm just saying that a lot of people are. If all the projects that you talked about were mostly foreign driven. There's the one in Freeport, there's Albany, there's the Family Islands. What about Bahamians? What about Bahamian businesses? What about Bahamian businessmen? Let's speak to them. What are they feeling? What are they thinking? And I think a lot of them are, and maybe Frankie Wilson is right, maybe they are so fearful of this value-added tax that they've worked themselves into a frozen state. But, you know, when you speak to Bahamians, they are not optimistic.
Is it an unnecessary fear? Is it that there are some people in the business community who are putting things out there, who are contrarians and who seem to look at the negative side rather than the positive side?
The problem is, Brother Jones, is the fact that the government is generally horrible at PR. You know, this, if you think about it, what are they telling? I think they won the argument that we need to raise taxes. I think everybody agrees the government needs money. Okay? We do need to raise taxes. But you hear often, why don't you collect the taxes that you already have on the books? Why are you so prolific in your spending? What if we do raise taxes, give me some assurance that you're going to control your spending? You know, the government needs to package it. It's not just all about value-added tax. Your tax could go up. You need to pay more. The government needs more money. Convince me that this is good. If you look around the Caribbean, where they introduced value-added tax, Barbados, Trinidad, St. Kitts, Grenada, all you hear is war stories. So combat that. You have to have a PR machine to educate the people about what it is, and it's not bad. If you don't think it's bad, tell us why you don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to that, they've been so, I guess it's slow, at getting out the details of what it entails. So you get a little bit here, and you get a little bit here, and you get a little bit here. Can you tell me what's going to happen to import duties?
Yeah, but Dionisio, when I was at UWI Barbados in 1975, they had VAT. I was up there, we were paying VAT from 1975. And it worked.
Ain't working now.
But there were a number of intervening variables that caused the Barbados economy to be where it is now. Intervening variables. You travel a whole lot. You go to Europe a whole lot, all over Switzerland, all over Belgium and Amsterdam and places such. People pay VAT.
People pay VAT. People pay income tax too.
Yes.
Okay.
And so people in Belgium or Amsterdam or Zurich, you don't hear this hue and cry over VAT because it is working, isn't it? Are you suggesting that it cannot work here because we are in the Caribbean?
No, what I'm saying is that we don't disagree that you need to raise taxes. But we do disagree that you raise taxes to the detriment of the economy. We believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that if you're going to introduce value-added tax, there's going to be an immediate increase in prices. Now, what is that amount? I don't know. 7, 8, 9, 10%. But if you have an immediate increase in prices of 10%, and your general population are not getting an increase in wages, you are definitely going to cause a detrimental effect to my business. And so as a businessman, I am concerned.
Yeah, but the government is suggesting that that is not necessarily so.
No, they're saying 7, 8%.
Yes.
I mean, if you're increasing by 15%, some people would say 15%. They're saying, no, it's not as bad as 15%. It's probably 7, 8%. And then what they have found is businesses generally tend to round up their prices because they don't know what the effect is. So maybe it's 7, 8%, but I ain't sure, so I can put up 12 just to be safe. So when you end up putting up your prices, you're going to cause an enormous amount of inflation. Your population can't consume as they once did. And there is the fear. Now, if that fear isn't true, convince me.
But isn't the business community unfair in this regard? That they are considering, that some people are even considering putting up the prices, even without the matter being, just without the government making a conclusive decision as to what the percentage is. No. You have people already saying what is going to happen when they do not know what the effect will be.
Yes, but that's the problem with the government. Inform me, educate me on what it's going to be. If you're about to introduce a tax that's going up, my prices have to go up 15%. I have to collect, if I sell something for $10, I now need to collect $1.50 and give it to the government.
No, so, that is not the way the government said that this is going to work.
Yes, it is.
They're pretty much saying, listen, there is going to be a reduction on excise taxes. There's going to be a reduction on custom duties. And that is going to pretty much level off the cost of goods and services.
No, no, no. That's only, I mean, you know, let's take if you're a lawyer, okay? Right now you import nothing. You pay nothing. You pay very little tax. You're a service business, okay? So now I bill $100 an hour. So I got to add $15 onto that. That $15, I either have to just be settled with 85 because I got to send 15 to the government, or I got to add 15 onto my bill and send it to the government if I still want to get 100. Okay, so obviously whatever you pay on your inputs, you pay tax on, and you can deduct it. You can net them off. But by and large, if you're a service industry not importing many goods, you're going to start to pay a lot more tax than you once did, which is what it is. It's a goods and services tax.
Right.
But you know, how do you convince that person that they're not going to put up their price if they still want to get $100 an hour?
Yeah, but fine. But shouldn't people such be paying some tax to the government?
No,
Shouldn't we have...
Brother Jones, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The government of the Bahamas is running a $500 million deficit every year.
Right.
That is not sustainable.
Right.
You have convinced me of that.
Right.
I understand that. The
Right.
only thing that we are discussing is what is the best tax to eradicate that deficit and not destroy the economy at the same time.
And
that's what we are discussing here.
And you are saying that that is not that. You are suggesting that the best way is not that. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that possibly isn't that. Okay?
Possibly.
I don't know. But
it could be.
Huh?
It could be that.
No, I don't. You know, what the naysayers say is, okay, you've got all these taxes you don't collect. You're very bad at collecting taxes. You don't collect taxes very well as it is. So now you're going to bring out another tax that you don't know how to collect. It's a complicated tax. It's not like business license. It's not like national insurance. It's not like property tax. This is kind of complicated. You have to collect tax from your consumer. You have to work out what VAT you pay to your people who you supply you. You've got to take the VAT you get from your consumer and net it against this. You've got to keep records. Man, this is a different thing. And so it is a little bit more complicated, and you know, and I know, that the government of the Bahamas is notoriously bad at collecting taxes.
Yeah,
So-
a whole lot of governments are bad in collecting taxes.
So our point is, let's realize what we can on the taxes that we have. Let's make sure we maximize that before we start looking at other ways to tax and complicate doing business. This is a complication to doing business.
The international agencies are suggesting that this is the way to go. We're going to talk about that, but let's take this break here. Dionisio de Aguilar, our guest on the program today. We'll come right back.